So this is going to be a bit of a pep talk for those of you that are feeling unmotivated, or actually more importantly, a little bit afraid, a little bit unsure about your future in the licensing business. And maybe right now you're in that point where you're hopeful, you've got ambition, but then there's a big part of you that's saying, it might not work out. It's a big risk, right? It's a year, it's a 2-year commitment to really cranking out a bunch of music and hoping that you're partnering with the right libraries, and really just a lot of basically faith, right? A lot of faith in yourself and a lot of faith in the process that is going to work out for you. And so I totally get that. That's exactly where I was when I started in this business. And I had people around me that were giving me some of that doubt to say like, well, I hope it works out for you, man. But like that, I don't know. I don't know of a lot of people that really do well in that. And, best of luck, basically. And so that wasn't helping me either, to have a lot of that doubt sort of foisted upon me. So if you're in that place, please watch this video and bookmark this video and favorite it or whatever, and come back to it anytime you are in that sort of fear mode where your energy is a little bit lower, your perception of the future isn't as bright and cheery as it may be in the past or something like that, and you're just not really certain about if this is going to be a good, smart, and quote unquote safe move for you to make, right? That's a big thing that we want to have, is safety and confidence and security. We all want that as people, right? As humans. And the wisdom that I really want to impart upon you guys today is that think about right now, however old you are, it doesn't matter. You can still be, in your early 20s, you could be in your 60s, you could be in your 80s, but look back on your life right now and try to think of the times or the things that you've done that you regret. Most of you, if you're honest with yourselves, the only things that you probably have true regret over, that you really, it agonizes you, you really do struggle with it, is those things that you just never tried or gave up on, right? There was an opportunity for a business that you didn't take up. There was a girl you wanted to ask out and you just didn't have the courage to do it. There was something that was really scary for you to do, and instead of embracing it and trying it, even trying and failing, you just didn't even go for it. You sort of went to the sidelines, made an excuse as to why you didn't want to do it, and then just moved on with your life. Those are really the only things that I personally regret, those opportunities or those situations that I wish I had more courage in the moment to just give it a shot. And I think if you're honest with yourself, that would probably be the same for you. There might be some situations and things that you've tried in the past that didn't work out, right? You took a shot at something that was risky, but it didn't work. But do you regret it now, giving it a shot and having it not work out? Probably not at all, right? Because you're really satisfied that you didn't have that lingering, well, what if, right? That's where regret really starts to eat at you, and it can definitely eat at you in the future when you're much older. Is that sort of a what if I had just stuck with this thing for a little bit longer, maybe something really cool could have happened if I just had gotten over that fear and had some more commitment to the goal of whatever it is I wanted to do. That's really the key of where regret comes from. It's not even trying and not even going for the sort of path less traveled. And a lot of people do trade that, they make that trade-off where they say, well, yes, that path, let's talk about music licensing. It's, very few succeed. It's a big gamble. It's a big risk. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to go down that path and see if it's going to work for you. And so what most people will do is they make the calculated risk, or the choice to say, that's too risky. I don't want to go for it. Even though their heart and their soul is telling them that's what they want, and they feel that that could be a realistic path for them, they sort of settle for, well, I'll just stick with this source of income that I'm making now because I've got the money and I don't have to really risk that much and it's safe, right? In the short run, it feels better because, having income and having that kind of a thing, having your bills paid or whatever, obviously it gives you some sense of satisfaction. But what's going to happen as the years go on is that's going to start to eat at you day by day, week by week, month by month, that you made that trade-off, that you didn't take a riskier, bolder move in your career path, and to really go into a direction that you really wanted to, right? That your creative spirit, so to speak, was basically calling you to do, and you've sort of neglected that, and now you've taken a path that was more secure, but it leaves you less satisfied and a little bit hollow. And now the biggest thing, full of a lot of regret, that you didn't at least give it a shot, that you didn't at least give your dreams and your goals a real good go, right? And knowing that there was a path in front of you to do it, and you just didn't take it. So again, at the end of the day, you need to make this choice for yourself. And I want a big disclaimer here. I am not telling you tomorrow to go quit your job and go 100% in music licensing. You have to be the own arbiter of your path. And actually, you don't have to do that. I think that's a kind of a misconception that people have, that you have to either have your day job or you have to quit it all and just do music licensing. Guys, I got started with a really demanding day job. I was a part of a startup company. If any of you work for a startup company, you don't get just 40 hours a week, all right? You're doing 60, 80, 90 hours a week, and your bosses expect you to be there at sun up all the way to sundown and sometimes spending the night in the office. It was very common for me when I was getting started. But even with that obligation and even with my day job that I had to have to pay my bills, I was still producing music nights, weekends, anytime that I possibly could. And that's what got my career started, okay? So obviously I'm not telling you guys to quit your jobs and quit whatever it is that's supporting you and your family and go 100% in music licensing. You can absolutely start to build your catalog right now with your job, with your income, with whatever it is that you're doing to make ends meet, right? But what I want to get across is that you don't get into that place where you just don't even try. That's really all, to me, that's what failure is, okay? Getting on the horse and falling off 3,000 times, that's not failure to me, because you're trying, you're going forward. And every time you fall off and make a mistake, you're a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter, and now you can get back on the horse and learn how to balance yourself better and ride it better, right? To go down that path. So that to me is the path to success. Actually, the more that you can fail, the better, because every time you do quote unquote fail, we just call it failing. It's really just sort of trial and erroring your way through a process. The more times you do that, the better equipped you are at becoming successful, because you're learning all of the things. It's like a sort of zero-sum game. When you every single day learn, oh, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work. Well, what you're doing is you're chipping away at all the distractions and all the bad approaches and getting closer and closer to something that actually works. So it's actually a sign of progress if you're failing fairly consistently. Ironically, we don't think about failure that way, but it absolutely is a way to sort of get yourself into that path of success. So all I want you to take from this video is just please don't give up entirely, where you don't even give it a shot. You don't even give yourself that shot. You don't give yourself that that chance that you really do deserve. And trust me, you will hit a day where you wake up one day, if you have given up on your dreams, and if music licensing was something that you felt and you do feel can be your path, you do not want to be in that position 10 years, 20 years later where you're kicking yourself and it's eating you alive, and you've spent your entire life in a field of work that you just don't really care about, you're not that interested in, you don't love, and you're always thinking like, well, what if? It's a very common thing that a lot of producers and musicians who get older in years, who have not found the success that they wanted, usually become very bitter. They start to bash the industry, they blame everybody else, and they're just trash talking everything. And they're not fun people to be around. Yeah, some of you guys have probably been around these people. They do nothing but talk about how, you know, the labels were screwing everybody and the radio sucks and I didn't get a fair shot and somebody robbed me, right? We've heard all the stories, okay? You do not want to be that person, you know, when you get into your later years. You want to be the person that gave it a shot, okay? What do you got to lose? I mean, even if you give this 100% of your effort and you don't see the results that you want, you can at least have that satisfaction that you didn't give up, that you didn't sell yourself short, that you weren't overcome with so much fear that you didn't even try, right? Going for your dreams. You at least can say, you know, I had the courage, I gave it a shot, I gave 100% of my effort. You're going to feel so much better about that outcome than you are if you just sort of leave it in the mystery zone and you're not even sure whether or not you could have actually done it. So this is basically, you know, not to be too dark, but your deathbed sort of calling you from the future and warning you to say, don't be in that position when you're a much older person, looking back on your younger career as to why you didn't even give it a shot. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts below. Comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's just something that has been rattling around in my brain the last couple of days, especially as I get interactions from a lot of members and a lot of emails and that kind of thing of people who are filled with just a lot of fear about this industry. And there's plenty of reasons to be afraid about this business, because you guys probably don't know many people in your lives that have successfully made it to the other side to call this their full-time income. So it's totally rational, totally makes sense. So I empathize with all of that 100%. But I hope that that's not something that just blocks you from getting started. So I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Please leave a comment below.